gatekeepers. You know, the idea was, how do we get past the retailers? And at the time, everybody was expecting a huge Spanish explosion, and they wanted to kind of get into the Spanish space. But the modern woman was not about Spanish, it was about a modern woman. But the idea was, let's figure out how to get there, how to get past those gatekeepers. So we identified Daisy and identified that she was authentic, self-assured, she was, you know, style conscious, she was modern and fresh. More importantly, she was crossover. She would be just as relevant for Latin consumer than non-Latin consumer. As a matter of fact, that was really key. The reason we use Daisy is because at the time, the gatekeepers at Kohl's were thinking Hispanic. They were not thinking, you know, modern space. So we met Daisy. We did a deal with her. We actually later came to name those deals fishing licenses, which was basically, hey Daisy, we want to do a deal with you, but we're not quite sure that we're going to be able to make a deal with a retailer. So we wanted 6 months exclusivity with you. In our case, we didn't pay anything. But if we do the deal, then you'll get a royalty, and we'll give you certain minimums, and etc. And during this 6 months, we want you to help us build the line so it's authentic. We actually went, a designer went to a closet to make sure that we understood what you liked and what you didn't like, clothing-wise, shoes, etc. And we began fine-tuning what the brand DNA was. And we determined what the brand essence was that fit the modern space. So it so happened Daisy had all of these elements, you know, modern, trend-like, casual, chic, style-like, day, tonight, etc. But that was the space that we needed to fill. And then we identified what we thought should be a fashion pyramid. Now we thought that for the launch, we needed to have 25% at the top of the pyramid to be fashion, 45% fashion basic, and 30% core essential. For those of you who are not that familiar with apparel builder, you make the most money on core essential, because that's the stuff that gets marked down less, stuff that kind of is a basic. And the top of the pyramid is more risky, and because it can get from being marked down. And then we did all that stuff for 6 months, building the line without even picking up the phone and talking to calls. So we actually sampled the line, brought samples in. We did line up what the cost would be, so we actually negotiated with certain factories to identify key costs, estimated the quantities. We did an interesting focus group. We actually had 3 focus groups done in 3 different places in the country, where we brought some women who were Kohl's customers, and we asked them to go into the Kohl's stores the night before the focus group and shop the store. The next morning, we brought them into a room, and we asked them what did they like and what they didn't like about the store. And they kind of told us what they liked, which was more or less what we thought, that they didn't find stuff to wear for them. So some of the junior stuff that was cute, but wasn't their sizes, etc. And we then took them to another room and showed them the Daisy samples, and then showed them some other product that Kohl's had, like they had some Levi and Dockers, etc. Then we brought them back to the room and we talked about the product, what would they buy, etc. And of course, we videotaped the whole thing. So, and then we did some quantitative study to kind of see if people knew Daisy, etc. We did all of that stuff. Again, did not pick up the phone to speak to Kohl's. We then picked up the phone, asked one of the senior merchandiser at the time to come in, take a peek, to kind of give us, they love the idea. Only then we picked up the phone and say, okay, Kevin, we have an idea for you. Why don't you come in? He said, well, I said, just come in, give us 2 hours. And of course, they loved the program. And then just some of the things that we have done. We did a mock advertising campaign before that. I forgot to mention we shot Daisy, so we can, when they walk into the room, they saw POVs, store visuals. We did all tank tags. We did shop concept. We did all of that stuff again before that conversation. We presented it to calls, and then actually presented at the end of 2003, and the launch it at the spring 2004 in 183 doors. And 3 weeks into the product, I get a phone call that says, we thought the stuff was going to sell in Miami, it's selling in Milwaukee. And we want to go to all doors. They gave us the green light, I think at the end of April, and we needed to deliver fall to the whole chain. And then later on, we did some brand extension, added activewear, sleepwear, swimwear, intimate. All of that stuff had to be very well managed. We'll talk about it in a moment. And fit within the product line. In 2009, the brand exceeded $250 million in retail, and it broke down like that. The majority of the brand was apparel, intimate was another piece, some home, fragrance, jewelry, eyeglass, and handbag. And I guess when you look at most brands, I think Neil would say that's more or less the normal breakup in brands.